Welcome to the Deep Dive. We dive into your sources, pull out the key nuggets, and help you get really well informed. Today we're tackling Eric Jordan's Emotional Intelligence Mastery, a practical guide to improving your EQ. Our goal, basically to give you a practical shortcut to understanding emotional intelligence and, using it in your life. We hear EQ all the time, right?
Yeah.
Often next to IQ. But what does being emotionally intelligent actually mean? And why is it such a big deal for, well, navigating life? To help us unpack all this, we've got our expert with us.
Great to be here. Yeah, the core idea in the book is that EQ isn't just about being, nice. It's a real learnable skill, personal ability that can genuinely change how you experience work, your relationships, even how happy you feel day to day.
Yeah.
It's distinct from IQ, and as we'll see, it has huge implications.
Okay, so let's start right at the beginning. What is emotional intelligence exactly, according to Jordan?
So at its base, EQ is your ability to first recognize and really label your own feelings. Imagine pausing mid-conversation and thinking, okay, I'm feeling irritated right now and a little bit angry. That's the starting point, self-awareness. Once you can do that for yourself, the next layer is seeing emotions in other people accurately. Recognizing John's genuine enthusiasm or Peter's apathy maybe, Mary's irritation, seeing it for what it is. Then the book talks about the next level, actually being able to rein in or direct your own emotions to help you perform better. Think about how intense anger can cloud your judgment, right? Or being super giddy makes it hard to focus. High EQ means you can consciously decide to, say, calm yourself down or maybe cheer yourself up when you need to. And the highest level described, that's about regulating emotions, even dissolving really strong feelings right in the moment. And remarkably, helping others do the same, like calming a child having a meltdown or supporting someone through grief. It's quite profound.
Okay, this part really grabbed me. The book tells the story about a performer, right? Amazing talent, but crippled by stage fright, like physically sick. Her manager gets her an EQ consultant, and the consultant points out that the physical feelings of panic, the racing heart, the shakes, are almost identical to excitement.
Exactly. The underlying energy is the same.
Yeah, so she learned to reframe it, to consciously flip that switch from panic to enthusiasm using the same energy. That
Yeah.
self-control, that ability to just shift perspective, that's high EQ in action, isn't it? That sounds incredibly useful.
Yeah.
But how does it stack up against IQ? We hear about IQ tests all the time.
That's a really important distinction the book makes. IQ, the intelligence quotient, that's the score you get from standardized tests, like the Stanford Binet, has a mean of 100, used for, school placement, predicting potential, things like that. EQ, though, it's not a single score. It's more like a set of skills. How well you identify, understand, and manage feelings in yourself and others. An EQ smart person, as the book puts it, often just draws people in. They have this presence. And here's a fascinating point Jordan makes. While your IQ score might not change dramatically over your life, developing your EQ can indirectly boost how effectively you use your existing intelligence. Think about it. If you're less bogged down by anxiety or anger clouding your thoughts, your brain's executive functions, the thinking part, can just work better.
Ah, so it frees up your mental bandwidth, essentially.
Precisely. It lets you leverage the IQ you already have more effectively, so the line isn't as sharp as we might think.
Okay, so if it helps us think clearer, what does that mean for, say, our jobs, our careers, leadership? Are companies actually looking for this emotional smartness?
Oh, absolutely. It's becoming huge. The book highlights tons of professions where high EQ is basically essential now. Hiring managers, especially in big places like L'Oreal, Google, AT&T, and yeah, something like 75% of Fortune 500 companies. They're actively looking for it. Get this. L'Oreal found their sales reps hired based on EQ outsold the others by over $90,000 a year per person.
Wow, that's significant.
It really is. And Google, they've even relaxed their focus on degrees and GPAs a bit. They realized high grades mostly show IQ, not necessarily the street smarts or EQ needed for great teamwork.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and think about acting, mental health roles, any kind of leadership. You need that EQ to connect, empathize, motivate. The book mentions studies looking at top managers, what made them stand out. Overwhelmingly, it was their EQ. Like at PepsiCo, managers with strong EQ beat their revenue targets by 15–20%. Those with weak EQ, they underperformed.
It directly impacts the bottom line then.
Directly. And there's this incredible 40-year UC Berkeley study on PhDs. It found EQ was 4 times more powerful than IQ at predicting their success later in life.
4 times.
4 times. Plus, high EQ leaders. They build loyalty. People are about 4 times less likely to leave a company if they have a leader like that. It's all about rapport, connection.
That's powerful stuff. The book mentions some famous names too, doesn't it, as examples?
It does. People like Jeff Bezos, focusing on connecting with customers emotionally, not just rationally. Warren Buffett, known for his iron grip on emotional impulses in investing. John Donahoe, praised for incredible listening skills. Alan Mulally at Ford with his management by wandering around making real connections. Indra Nooyi, helping employees feel their work was a true calling. And historically, think of Winston Churchill during World War II. His speeches weren't just information, they were pure emotional leadership, giving people courage. But maybe even more striking is the story of Joaquim Chissano in Mozambique, the meditating president.
Oh, yeah, I read that part. He had his government and army meditate.
He did. Mandated transcendental meditation. And the book argues this collective focus on emotional awareness, on calm, on empathy. It was key to ending a 15-year civil war. It fostered this psychological safety that allowed dialogue to happen where before there was just fear and conflict, rebuilding the country. Quite a testament to collective EQ.
So beyond work and big leadership examples, how does this play out in just everyday life, our personal relationships, friends, family, even interacting with strangers?
It touches everything, profoundly. The book contrasts low and high EQ signs really clearly. Low EQ might look like someone glued to their phone, avoiding eye contact, or, laughing when someone trips and falls. Inappropriate reactions. Maybe they constantly irritate people without realizing it, always put themselves first, overstay their welcome, or are just blunt to the point of being hurtful. They miss social cues. High EQ individuals, on the other hand, they're often curious about people. They build rapport quickly. They understand their own emotional ups and downs. They're great listeners. They hear what's not being said too. They just seem to navigate social situations with grace. They know when to step in, when to back off.
It's like they have better social radar.
Exactly. As the book sums it up, EQ is from the heart, IQ is from the brain, and humans live from both. It's about integrating them. Hashtag 33. Practical steps to cultivate emotional intelligence.
Okay, this all sounds great, but how do we actually get better at it? The book offers practical steps, right? It's not just theory. Where does someone start?
Yeah, and the good news is the book stresses you can see results pretty quickly with regular practice. It starts, unsurprisingly, with self-awareness, building that foundation. So exercise 1 is called Pay Attention. Simple but powerful. For 7 days, pick a different hour each day and just notice. Notice every emotion you feel during that hour. Jot it down in a little notebook. No judgment, no trying to change it, just observe. Then after that week, you do exercise 2. Emotional analysis. You look at your notes, maybe color code the feelings that came up most often, and you analyze. What triggered this feeling? Was it helpful or not? Could I have reacted differently? It forces some deep self-reflection on your patterns. And then exercise 3, learning to read the body. This is about noticing the physical side of emotions.
Like where you feel it.
Exactly. Anger might be tightness in your jaw or shoulders. Sadness, maybe a heaviness in your chest. Enthusiasm, perhaps a feeling of lightness. Tuning into those physical signals.
Right, so once you can spot the feelings and maybe understand the triggers and physical signs, the book says the next step is deciding what to do. Because we can't always choose the feeling itself, but we can choose our reaction. Let it burn out or take control.
Precisely. And that leads to exercise 4, feel and release. This is a super simple technique, takes like under 2 minutes, designed to dissolve a feeling that's kind of gripped you. You notice where it feels stuck, throat, chest, stomach, wherever. Close your eyes, focus your attention there. Then you visualize opening a sort of door, an escape hatch for that energy. And you gently repeat phrases like, "The door is open, I let you go, please leave." You just mentally watch it dissipate. It sounds maybe a bit out there, but it can be surprisingly effective at disrupting those physical anchors of emotion. It helps you recognize, accept, and then let go. The book also talks about emotionally charged thinking, those negative thought loops we get stuck in. Most of our thinking is tinged with emotion.
Oh yeah, the inner critic.
Totally. So exercise 5 is learning to avoid thought traps. A high EQ person gets good at recognizing these loops and not getting sucked in. The exercise involves noting your main thoughts frequently. Then, when you catch yourself spinning on a negative one, you just repeatedly ask yourself, could I let go of listening to my mind right now, yes or no?
Yeah.
It's a way to gently detach and quiet that noise. And this all builds towards self-management, which is really about delaying gratification, resisting impulses. The book uses examples like craving chocolate or maybe the urge to jump in and micromanage someone's work.
Controlling those immediate urges.
Exactly. Instead of just acting on the impulse, you pause. You feel the craving or the urge to control. You recognize it, maybe even use feel and release on it. And then you choose a different action, maybe letting someone else figure it out, fostering harmony instead of letting your pride or anxiety run the show.
That's really solid work on the individual level, but then how do you connect that outwards? How does improving your own self-awareness help you interact better with other people?
Great question. Once you've practiced observing yourself, you naturally start applying that same observation skill outwards. And a key skill here is attentive, active listening, which isn't just hearing words, it's watching body language, the book says. That carries up to what, 60% of the message?
60%? Wow.
Yeah. High EQ people pick up on the nonverbal cues, the underlying emotions. So another exercise is exercise 1, the honest observer. You watch people maybe in a TV interview, people interacting in public, even your own family. But you do it neutrally. Try not to judge immediately. Then, and this is key, you ask yourself, how am I just like them? When have I felt or acted that way? It builds empathy, that sense of shared humanity, instead of just labeling people. Then there's exercise 2, the big 4, in action. This is about actively managing your own common reactions during interactions. First, interrupting. Notice why you want to interrupt. Is it pride, impatience? Recognize it. Second, think before speaking. Literally bite your tongue sometimes. Use that pause to really observe the other person. Empathize, even if it means you don't get to say your piece immediately. Third, turn your top negative reaction upside down. So if you tend to be critical, make a conscious effort to express appreciation instead. The book suggests you act as though it's
You
natural.
fake it till you make it, kind of.
Sort of. But it's about consciously practicing the positive behavior until it becomes more automatic, rewiring those reflexes. And finally, exercise 3, recognize cause and effect. This one takes courage. It's about noticing the emotional impact you have on others. If you realize your negativity makes people withdraw or get defensive, a high EQ person sees that connection. Without collapsing, they understand, okay, I push their buttons. They might ask themselves, if someone did that to me, how would I react? It's about taking responsibility for the energy you put out there. Hashtag Ivy, the transformative life with greater EQ.
So wrapping this all together, what's the big picture payoff? If someone really commits to this, works on these exercises, what kind of transformation can they expect?
The biggest transformation, the book argues, is advanced self-awareness. You really shift from feeling like a passenger, tossed around by your emotions, to being the driver. You consciously choose how you want to feel, how you want to respond. That leads to just a more harmonious, peaceful life. Whether you're alone or interacting with others, you're in control. And the immediate effects can be pretty striking. You start to realize just how many feelings we actually have all the time, and how much power you gain by managing them. It gives you this real sense of control over your life's direction. People often report feeling more creative, better at solving problems, less shy, even just waking up feeling better more often. It boosts confidence. Then there are the cumulative benefits. Over time, you internalize this idea, okay, it's just a feeling. It's not life or death. I have choices. You get better at spotting your triggers, stopping those knee-jerk reactions. Your thinking gets clear because emotions aren't constantly muddying the waters. Social situations become easier. You feel more self-assured, more empowered. You're less likely to feel pushed around, more able to state your case calmly but firmly. And here's something really fascinating, how other people's reactions change towards you.
How so?
Well, emotions are energy, right? We project them. As your EQ develops, your emotional energy becomes, well, clearer, maybe higher. And people feel that. They subconsciously adjust to your state. The book actually says the highest EQ energy always wins out.
Wins out.
Yeah, because positive managed emotions lead to clarity, presence, thinking on your feet. You can lead with compassion, assert yourself effectively without aggression. People are just naturally drawn to that. They trust it. They see you as stable, clear-headed, especially when things get chaotic. They tend to follow that lead. Hashtag outro.
Wow. Okay, so this deep dive into Eric Jordan's emotional intelligence mastery really maps out a clear path. From just noticing feelings to managing our own state to connecting better with everyone else. It really does sound like a journey towards, well, profound growth.
Absolutely. And the ultimate message, I think, is incredibly empowering. The book basically says true happiness, feeling carefree, confident, secure, isn't some mystical thing. It's often right there, accessible just by getting a handle on our feelings. With better EQ, using these kinds of tools, you can consciously let go of the negative stuff that weighs you down. You can move into genuine, lasting happiness. Jordan finishes with this great image. No more will you be swept away by the overwhelming current of your emotions. Instead, you'll be relaxed and in control while surfing the waves, finding joy in the moment as you keep your balance with ease. In other words, you'll have achieved emotional intelligence mastery.
Surfing the waves. I like that. It leaves us with a great question, maybe for you listening right now. If happiness is so linked to managing feelings, what's maybe one feeling you'd choose to consciously let go of today? Just to feel a bit more positive, a bit lighter, more in control, something to think about as you consider your own path to emotional intelligence mastery. Thanks so much for joining us on the deep dive.